Howdy, y'all. Welcome to episode 23 of the Kilima Post, a Palia podcast, with your host, K Fiercine.
And Shinori Yoru talking about another episode with our wish list. Because we have a lot to talk about still with the previous episode as well. How are you, K Fierce? How are you doing?
Um, at the moment, I'm doing great. Ask me again this week, this coming weekend, and I'm going to give you a completely different answer.
Oh, what happened?
Well, well, I mean, first off, on Tuesday we've got the patch, which we'll briefly maybe talk about here in a moment. But it's
Right,
like we've got Peleus patch on Tuesday.
right.
I've got a World of Warcraft Classic patch on Tuesday, and
Ooh,
it's
let's go.
basically like the pre-patch for the expansion.
Right.
So a lot of new stuff like going on Tuesday between my two MMOs. And then Thursday, Animal Crossing New Horizons is getting its out of the blue 3.0 update.
Now they're really picking up on Animal Crossing. I'm starting to
So,
realize.
oh yeah, well, I typically play Animal Crossing on Tuesdays.
Right,
And because I play a few different cozy games, because I play Animal Crossing, I play Hello Kitty Island Adventure, which chances are they'll probably have a brand new event when I log on Monday to play that game too.
right.
So, and so I play a few other cozy games as well as a couple of other MMOs. And it's just like all of my games were like, yeah, we're gonna update all on the same week. Just because, and I'm like I've got time to play all of these games all the time.
Right, and there's another game that just came out and everyone's obsessed with it. It was just called Heartopia.
Oh my god, literally I have not even tried Heartopia because I don't
Yeah.
have time. Like
I
I
know, it's
I
just like
keep
there's a lot
seeing
of
it.
things happening, and
I'm
that
like,
one's also a free to play game, by the way.
I
If you
know.
didn't know.
And it's mobile. So I'm like, I
Yeah,
really want to try like the mobile, because obviously I don't do a lot of PC gaming.
and I'm hearing it's a lot of gotcha, is what I'm hearing. So just take it with a grain of salt.
Ooh. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, I hadn't heard anything about it yet. I hadn't actually looked into it. Maybe glad I didn't
that's the biggest
put
thing
my
I've been
time
hearing of
into it.
lately. So I haven't played it. I don't know anything about it. So I might just play like one day of it and then give my thoughts on it, and that's it.
But yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
all of my games are coming out this week. And
Mm.
if Heartopia had came out on the Switch, then I would have probably had given it a try.
Right,
But
right,
the fact that it was on PC and mobile, I didn't actually give it a try. But if I just couldn't add it to the list though, because I'm like, I've got so many games to play right now.
right. Of course. And I'm thinking like, dang, Palia needs to really pick up their gaming because I think the last four updates has been very lackluster and no new content other than like, oh yeah, new plushies. But other than that, it's not really nothing to be excited about that much, in my opinion. I don't know.
Right. Well,
I
I
don't know about
mean,
you, but
well, I know this patch. I know because everybody watching this will already have the patch notes out. Maybe the patch will already be live by the time you're listening to this. But
right,
we haven't actually gotten to the patch notes yet because this is still, a couple of days before the patch actually comes out.
right,
But
right.
I already know I'm going to be busy like fairy mantis plush hunting next week.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and so I'm like, I already know I'm going to be busy with that next week, so at least it's going to be a big update for me personally,
I mean,
just on that alone.
yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of RTB huntings when they first came out, and we would just do like a whole month of literally just doing RTB hunting every single day, grinding those dragon beards feats and like gold bars and apples, just to go craft them. Yeah, it takes a bit out of you in order to do it. So we were just literally just grinding that all the time. So just to get that.
Right, I know I actually have me a few bug lures already like
Mm.
saved up ready to go for it.
Yeah,
But
yeah, same
I'm
here.
gonna have to try to find me a good balance this week for all of my games, but I'm definitely super excited for all of the updates in all of my games.
Of course.
Like but yeah, but that is one thing I really hope we get some more filling Palia patches,
Right, of course, of course. And I'm just wondering, like, if they're going to be releasing any more plushies, because for this trailer we only seen two. However, 2 patches ago they did promise Elderwood Fun Guy to be released this patch. I'm not sure if they're still keeping to their promise about that, or they're going to be like, "Oh no, we forgot about it. Sorry, we're just going to give it to the next patch or something."
Was it supposed to be in the January patch? I just thought it was
Uh,
they just said a few months.
they
So,
just said the 0.99199, I believe,
oh, okay.
is what
Well,
they said.
if they said it was coming in this patch, then it's probably coming in this
Yeah,
patch.
yeah.
But you know,
So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully they will, but I don't know.
but on that note, to tie that into this week's subject,
Yeah.
the essence of plushies, there was a little Sproutling plushie. Little
Mm-hmm.
Sproutling is what it was called, and by the way,
Yeah.
it has the cutest little booty on a plushie. I literally
Oh,
thought it was a turnip at first. Obviously, at the time of recording this, we don't know how that plushie is coming out.
no, we have no
But
idea.
this is our like Palia wish list, and I
Yeah.
have something that has been on my wish list. I know I have submitted it to Singularity 6 quite a few times. I've made videos on it. I know I've talked about it in the podcast a couple of times.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm still going to talk about it again because it is on my wish list.
Right.
But I had this set that I call the little seedlings.
Mm.
And they would be when you have a chance, when you chop a tree, you have a chance to get like a little acorn or a little pine cone or a little samara, you know, and it would be like
Yeah.
a seed like plushie of that tree. And I had called the set the little seedling. You know, and that's just the name I'd just been
Right.
bouncing
Right. Right.
around myself just because I thought it was cute. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, I see this patch and we get Lil Sproutling.
You're
Like,
close.
that is very similar.
Very
I'm
similar.
just
Right.
saying. And instead of
Yeah.
making 4 plushies, one for all the different types of trees, or 5 in this case now that Ancient Woods came out,
Mm-hmm.
they were like, we can just do one plushie that comes from a tree. Now I don't know if that's where we're getting little Sproutling, or if little Sproutling is maybe from anytime you harvest something from the garden. Those are like my first two guesses. Obviously, everybody listening will all probably already know by this point,
Right.
but I
Um.
don't. But if that is little, we don't get little seedling from chopping down trees, then I want, or if we don't get little Sproutling from chopping down trees, then
right.
I want little seedlings. That's in my wish list for 2026. Is I want plushies you can get from chopping trees, and
Oh boy.
specifically, and I'm very specific about this, you have to be able to get the drops from chopping trees on home plots. Because I would love the idea of hosting because I
Oh.
do a weekly flow chop party. We chop 300 trees every
right.
Friday. So
Right.
if I have and when we've been getting presents through this, like we've all been getting excited. Like we got 8 presents. Like every person in the group got 8 presents for chopping down all the trees last time.
Right.
You know, and we were like all excited. And I just saw that and I'm like, it would be so cool if we could have a chance to get a plushie at like these parties.
Right.
And so like then it's like, oh my God, what if we get a plushie in the middle of a party? You know, that would be like super hype, you know, and it would just make flow chop parties even more fun.
With the whole idea of it of being able to being get from the trees, yeah, it sounds fun. However, if it's as tedious as getting the kitsus from the rocks, that might be a bit of a problem, because I've spent this whole time literally just breaking rocks from Kilima, Bahari, Elderwood. Still haven't gotten a single one. And I'm getting a lot of people from different friends, literally just saying, "Yeah, I got it within the first hour." I'm sitting there just like literally that day with like 8 hours already done, just breaking rocks, and I'm just sitting there like, "Oh, I have nothing to show for it, but you have your cup plushie, congrats." But I got nothing. And it's been like that for a long time now since it's been released on the on the path for the Kitsu. So it's just like, oh boy. I mean, I don't mind it that much. Like, I know it's not supposed to be like something that you're supposed to be grinding on. However, you kind of just want to get one, right? And for me, I haven't got even a single one of that on in the rocks. The only way I've obtained it so far is through trading, and that's basically it. So it's kind of like, yeah, but with the ceiling wise, like I don't mind it being like on trees for that. It'll be a really really cool idea, but I also find that maybe like they're gonna be very tedious on what the tree might be, because if you realize it, like we have 5 seeds they can go through, which is basically the juniper, the samara, the acorn, the pine cone. Oh, sorry, the I think yeah, it's pine cone, and then the elderwood, the elderwood ancient tree seed from elderwoods. So I don't know if they're gonna be like, hey, if you grow this tree, you'll get this plushie, and then who knows? Like in the future, they'll get like 4 more of that just to be like, hey, yeah, if you cut these trees, you'll get this plushie. Or they could be even more tedious and be like, hey, if you cut these floor trees, these are going to be different than what you got. So you got to cut it very specific on which tree you're going to get these new plushie from. So I don't know. Like, who knows? Like, you might have to grow like a specific tree. You might even have to go even more specific for the floor trees. Then yeah, I don't know. So I don't know. Like, I find like it might be a really great idea, but at the same time, it's going to be very tedious to grow all the same seeds for like for a while until they come up with something in order to make this more of a desirable plush. Because I like for me, I don't really cut that much trees anymore, mainly because I don't need the materials. But the only reason why I even think about doing like a flow tree cutting or even a mass tree cutting is because of the newer players that come to the game and they need materials. And I'm just like, yeah, sure, yeah, we can do that. Or they either need to complete achievements for that week about full tree cutting, either or. So it seems really fun in that case, but I'm just wondering, like for the past the new passer that are coming out, I wasn't expecting it to be like this patch. To be honest with you, because it seemed like okay, we spent a bit of money. Okay, we can save up for the next one, right? If we ever need. No, we're having it next month as well. So now it makes it curious: is there going to be a path every single month now? I feel like it's getting to the borderline. Literally, they are literally trying to vacuum and suck all the money from all of us every single month. It's starting to get into very greedy territory right now. Because even with like the new animal that they're planning to release this patch, you still got to pay money in order to like have it outside of your farm, and that's still like about 25 to 30 bucks in order to get that to happen. And I'm sitting there being like, dude, we gotta spend like at least 25, 30 bucks in order to like get this out of our plot and showcase it to our friends. It seems a bit much in my opinion at this rate. So I don't know, like it's I know other games that makes it a bit cheaper or makes it a bit easier. That we don't have to pay that much in order to do this. But with Palia, it's been like very up the top with what they're demanding of us in order to get this certain thing that's in the game right now. So I don't know. Well, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I mean, as somebody who only buys things off the Zeki Loyalty
Right,
Club, I know that I'm not actively buying everything
right,
super
right.
fast anyways. So I don't, so and a lot of that stuff just doesn't really entice me anyways, and I think that's the option is they're giving like multiple streams of
They are.
revenue so that they can make money through different ways that affect
Mm,
different people. Some people who maybe only care about decorating loves the
mm.
landscapes, loves the new mailboxes and the new
Right.
shipping bins. somebody else might be all about clothes, you know, and somebody might really like ranching and they've got their favorite baby they want to show off.
Right.
Now, do I feel some of it is a little much? Maybe, yes. Like, I feel like everything is super expensive, but at the same time, the game is free to play. And my whole thing is, I don't mind them putting these things out for sale and maybe necessarily the prices that they are. But if they're going to be selling all of this, then I expect to have a bit more meat in my content. That's the big thing is I wish that I would have like more like we get more questing, you know. We know they're giving us the news zone this year, you know. I don't know how much work it took to make the
Right.
Elder Woods and how much work it's going to take this new upcoming zone. But I assume we're probably going to get it about the same time we got the Elder
Right. Right.
Woods. You know, they've been very hush hush about it cuz they don't want anything to be spoiled, and they're basically like, if we even give you a hint, it's going to be spoiled on what we're doing and the whole plan for this whole
Right.
thing. So if it's like that specific, I'm just so curious on what to know. But I feel like if they're keeping it this hush hush and they're not giving us any sort of information on what they are really working on and what they've got coming out that's actually a bit more substantial, then I'm like, okay, you guys got to calm down on all these purchases things, you know?
Right.
But as long as the content's coming out, then I'm cool with it. So as long as they start, you know, pumping some stuff out.
That's the thing, though. For me, I like. Yeah, they are pumping some things out, but it's not really to basically satisfy anything. Because I feel like it's just basically stalling at this point. Because I think the last thing that we actually got was the actual real update was like 4 months ago, I believe. And this is before not the one that's in Halloween, but like before that. No, even before that one. Is what we actually got, which was I don't know what it was. But I've been counting literally the months on if there's any new content, and I feel like this one's just like the same as the others, other than like, yay, snow and Kilima, oh, snowman event. Yeah, but those are like little things to keep you busy. It's not really there to give you like any story or anything like that. It's just there to like, yeah, it's something to be excited about, but like, there's no new story, there's no new map, there's no new characters, like there's no new questing. It's kind of very lackluster in my opinion, and I'm really hoping this update this update was supposed to be like something really really special, but no, we were still in the waiting phase of what the new update might be for what's gonna happen next. I know they're busy. I know they're fixing a lot of bugs. I get it, but they're getting a. I know some of us are getting a bit impatient, especially me. Like I'm a very patient guy, and for this to be, yo, yay, we're getting a few plushies and that's it, type of thing. You're like, yeah, I like you get new outfits and all that, but that's for paid content, right?
Well, I know there's a lot of stuff that they mentioned on the Discord,
Mm,
and it hasn't been you know, because you know when they release a patch trailer, they always release notes on the Discord, and I know I always forget to cover them in my videos. That's why, you know, I'm actually thinking about it now because I'm trying to remember myself. So next time I do a trailer video on YouTube, I'm going to pull those up. And I do know that they do have, you know, I know they've maybe got some things going. There are some questionable. We'll find out on
right, right,
Tuesday. But and I think a lot of that is where you actually draw the line on what satisfies you for
right,
content.
right.
You know, I personally myself, I loved the snowman event.
Mm,
I felt like it would maybe went on for a bit
right.
too long. I will be the first to say. But for it being the holiday and knowing that people are going to take, you know, holiday time off in a business, and most updates around the holidays typically aren't the biggest. I wasn't expecting too much from a December update. Now,
Mm,
I thought it was cool that we got a big community
right.
event and that they put out new chests and We had our new bundles and everything else. So I felt like for me personally, as far as like a December update goes, I had a lot of fun. I had a good
Oh,
time.
I will
I'm
say,
not
yeah, I
complaining
did have a
about
good
it.
time. A bit.
But now that we're in January,
Yeah.
like the holidays are over,
Mm.
time to get back to the grind, like let me get some good meaty updates now. Give me a good quest
Yeah,
chain.
that's what I'm looking for. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think they have to put out a big long quest chain every patch. Like, don't get me
Right.
wrong. Like, I'm not here expecting that. But I wouldn't
Right. Right.
mind a big good quest chain every couple of months at least,
Yeah,
to at least give us a bit more lore, you
like
know?
if they said like with the how they were like, yay, quests every month instead of the bulletin board. I would prefer like if they did like every like maybe like 4 months or 3 months maybe. Like if it doesn't be that great, it just has to be like, hey, like we get to know the characters a bit more, and like, do we ever see them like interacting with each other that much? Not really, no. So like, if there's like quests to actually like to have the characters and the Kilima to actually talk to each other, and we get to know more a bit about them, then yeah, I'll be more down for it because like we all know like Kenyatta was into Bahari boys, but did we know Tish was? I had a suspicion Tish was, but it wasn't really confirmed. But now we know they actually like the same band together. Like, oh my god. Like that's a little something that we didn't know. But yeah, it didn't have to be that much of a quest. But it still had something to do and it still had character lore and also to get to know the characters a bit more as well. Right? So as we all know Tish just likes to build furniture, but do we know her outside of that other than her sickness and also that Reth is her brother and like well, like, do we know anything else really from that? Not really, no. So, like, I would like a bit more with all the character development of each and every character that's in Kilima or in and other parts of the maps. Like we like it's very small, but I like little things like here and there because people do notice. I notice like a lot, so I really want to know like more of the characters and like where like what's happening with them
Right.
and kill them all. So like yeah, just but like I said, like I wish they would give us like something more like more mini games, like for example, because when I went to the underground like the other day, I don't see that much people playing the hot pot anymore. Only like 2 or 3 tables were full now. Back then, every single table would be full every time I went to the underground. Now, not so much because I think everyone's getting bored of the same game playing over and over again, or they're just burnt out from playing it all over again. Who knows what the reason is? But the hot pot game is still fun. Don't get me wrong, but I think something we need new stuff in order to be like more excited to play this again if we ever do decide to in the future.
I was gonna say, for me personally, like I love Hot Pot, but Hot Pot needs a revamp. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
what I think instead of having a prize wheel, we need to have a prize counter. And basically, you can use your coins to buy particular items off of a prize counter. You can put all the different pirate furniture, their own like separate pieces and worth so many tokens a piece because that's what the people who are still actively doing hot pot all the time are basically collecting more of like those wine barrels or more of the
Right, right.
cannons or more of the very specific furniture you get from the furniture set. And I feel like then it would allow them to occasionally add a new piece of furniture to the prize store. And it just basically work like kind of like the way it does at the Maji Market, where you go and spend tickets to buy an item.
Right, right. And the thing is that they haven't even updated the wheel in such a long time, or like the prize bags in such a long time. Like when they released the giant bee into like the lucky coins now. I'm like, why couldn't they just put it into the prize wheel instead with the other giant plushies? Like, why put it back into the lucky coins? Because the thing is with the lucky coins, I love it. People like to gamble, like to literally risk all their money for it. However, like there's so much stuff already into it, and like when was the last time you updated like the prize wheel with the bags? Like no new pirate decor. There's no new plushies. There's no new other stuff that goes with it. Like have you guys completely forgotten
Well,
about
I
this?
know I'd been saying like we needed like a second, like a Zeki Lucky Ball 2, where you buy other tokens, where you buy version 2 tokens or whatever. And
Right.
or it would take the same tokens, just you can just use same lucky tokens. It just gets different prizes depending on which one you go into, and you would be able to more specifically go after some of these rare plushies without going through
Mm.
all of them. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right. Like if you got them for like you put them in both, I don't mind that at all. Cause yeah, you're still spending a lot of money and time just to get like either of them. Because like, what are the chances of you rolling this particular plushie? Very, very low, unlucky, but higher in like the bag. So like, it'll bring people back to actually play more hot pot if that's the case, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but I think there should be other methods or other games that they should be implementing that are just like distractions, so we don't have to be like kind of bored with everything in Palia right now. So yeah, I'm just gonna go somewhere else. But that's not what S6 wants people to do. They want people to keep playing their game, and I get it. They need something though, and it's been excruciating, literally waiting for this long in order to see new content that might be releasing. It like I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but it, playing Paley for so long, but I do get a bit impatient, a bit. But hopefully they're able to give something new that in the next a month or two or three from now. But hopefully we'll see.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
but also on a similar note, where one of the things where I was hoping I would have gotten last year, and I'm kind of upset. Now, I know this really doesn't affect you as much, but this is
Mm-hmm.
something that's pretty much me going to be on a little rant on myself for. But
Go ahead.
I play Palia on the Switch too. Now people can make fun of me all they want, but unless somebody wants to give me a brand new computer, it's more convenient for me to play on the Switch. Plus, they've been able to help a lot of people and teach a lot of people new things because I play on the Switch, and I've learned how to deal with it. But now my problem is, as a Switch 2 player, basically all they did was they copied the Switch 1 file and put it over to the Switch 2. Now, I know not a lot of people bought a Switch 2, especially to play Palia, which I didn't buy it specifically for Palia, but since, I was already playing on the Switch, might as well upgrade a little bit. But
Right. Right.
basically they just copied the Switch 1 version and put it on the Switch 2. Which,
Right.
I understand because they were having issues on getting it able to work on the Switch 2 at launch, but like the Switch 2 is a much more powerful console, as well as has like a unique ability that it has a built-in mouse. And I think like Singularity 6 could be able to give us a proper Switch 2 version to where more people would load in. And I don't have this crashing problem with so many people being on my plot, and I just open the chat, you know. And it's because it's the Switch 1 limitations. Like the Switch 2 can be a lot more powerful. Just please
Right.
give us a Switch 2 version of the game to where I can run it like the other consoles.
And I've been hearing a lot of people that play on a Switch. Like, yeah, got the Switch too. I'm still crashing in the game. I'm like, didn't the Switch 2 fix all that problems? Question mark?
Well, I mean,
Because it's a more powerful console, and I'm like, what's happening?
well,
Like,
I'm not
what?
crashing necessarily in the world, but when I've got a lot
Right.
of people on my plot and we've got some flow
Oh,
trees growing around,
okay.
my game
Yeah.
my game has done this like very like predictable and reliable sense of crashing. And last time it was like all I did was open up the chat. Like I opened up the chat to talk to chat to coordinate the party, and my game had
Right.
crashed.
Right.
And I'm like, I had just if this was coded to be up to the Switch 2 specs, it wouldn't be that big of an issue. But it's
Right.
the fact that I'm running a Switch 1 program on the Switch 2. And I'm just, as I said, I know that's me being very
Picky
picky.
or
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm being very picky for something that is not as major because, as I said, not many people I assume play on the Switch 2 as much as I do. But I've
Hmm.
learned a lot of PC players play on the Switch, like when they're playing at nighttime in bed
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
they're wanting to play handheld version,
Right.
and a lot of them I feel like are eventually going to be moving on to the Switch 2.
Right.
And I feel like they just need to put out some time and give us a proper Switch 2 version. That's all I
I
want.
yeah, no, and you should be picky about that because you guys bought like a very expensive console, and many people were expecting to actually have a Switch 2 that actually flows well and play well better than the original Switch. But the problem was I've been hearing from a lot of people when the snow came to Kilima, many people were saying, "Yeah, I crashed. Where'd you go?" Into Kilima. Oh, I'm like, is it because of the snow? Probably. Okay. So I get it. Like, yeah, the home plot. Yeah, I get it with the home plot, but if you go outside of Kilmon and just hang around there because of the snow and you just crash, then that's literally a map that you can't have access to at that point. Like, how do you play the game that's already snowed in, and with the new snow, it crashes your game immediately once you go into Kilma. It makes no sense. It's not desirable to play anymore unless you do fix a lot of these issues on the Switch. So like I wish the Switch 2 was a lot better in that sense because I've been like hearing a lot of people were so excited to get the Switch 2, but now that they're playing Palia, they're like, nah, it's still not compatible. It still freezes. It still crashes. It's still like not really as great as they claimed it to be. Like as for the Switch 2. So I know this is not Palia's fault on this. It could be just be Nintendo's fault on this for not making the Switch 2 better. But I don't know. Like it's still it needs to be where the Switch 2 is more better than the Switch 1. But right now it's being like compared to the same thing. Like nothing's really changed about it. Which is kind of sad to me to hear because I thought the Switch 2 was going to be like this game breaking like console that everyone was waiting for. But no, but it's not as great as Nintendo was claiming it to be. Like, oh yeah, we have new features, we have new drives, like it's much more playable on it than the Switch and all that. Yeah, no. It just came out to be like, oh yeah, we could add just a little bit of things, kind of like the iPhone type of thing, you know? The iPhone added like a bit of things, but we're still keeping the same features. Type
Well,
of thing. Like, bro.
as somebody who has actually played on the Switch, I can't speak or play who's been playing on the Switch 2
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
regularly. I can't speak
Right.
for everybody, but
Right.
I will say my upgrade I've definitely had a much smoother time and I don't
Mm.
crash nearly as often. My
Oh, that's
load t-
good.
my load times are twice as fast, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and overall my game handles a lot more. But it's just like what I was talking about was it's like, when you have so many people and you have these like little ghosty people on your screen,
Yep.
like I want less of those ghosty people. I want to see
Yep.
more of the people there, you know?
Yep.
And that's because that's coded in because of the Switch 1 limitation.
Right.
And what I want them to do is just be able to like upgrade those type of things so that I can see more of the people at my party on my Switch too, you know? That my
Right. Right.
game's not as, you know, crazy on the Switch too. You know, that way everything's just a bit more
Hmm.
smoother and calmer. But as I said, but as far as like actual like lag goes and like crashes go, I've had a much better time. Like it's
I'm
definitely
glad to hear
the
it.
upgrade was definitely enjoyed.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, now I wouldn't say
Mm.
I would buy the system
Mm.
just to if you played Paleo on the Switch 1, just to play Paleo on the Switch 2.
Right.
But if you were already planning on getting one for the bazillion other games you're probably going to be playing on it, like, you know, for me, and for
Yeah.
instance, Animal Crossing and
Of
Mario
course.
Kart and
Yeah.
everything else, you know, for me, it was worth it. You know, I enjoy it, you know, but that's
And
because I'm playing all
and
these other games too.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. And like I want the Switch 2 to actually be a really good console, but I've been hearing a lot of negative compared to positive. I'm glad that's working a lot better for you, but for others, I've been hearing a lot different stories about it. I can't say personally myself because I don't have a Switch 2, but that's what I'm hearing, and it's not really good on my end, unfortunately, which is kind of unfortunate. Like I want to succeed though. I want to succeed for those who have bought the Switch 2 though.
But But any rate, as I said, I
Mm,
was just wanting, as I said, it was just on my wish list of wanting a Switch 2 version. So, but yeah.
yeah, and let's see another on my Switch wish list. I want there to actually be a better way for the tints because I'm not sure if you've had the tinting so far on how everything works with that. I'm not sure. Have you dipped your toes in that?
I have, and I definitely, as I said, I've got my wants. All I need is a little change on it, and I'm happy. But that little change
Yeah.
is,
I think that the thing that bothers me the most is that with the new tinting system, yeah, it's a new feature. And it's supposed to be different than what it was before. It is still buggy, I will say that, because not be able to like tint right away. I feel like there's like I'm not used to the whole tinting system, but basically you have to hold for I believe either shift or alt, I believe, and then like select the tint and then apply it on there. Like you have to be like literally looking at the looking at the furniture, then hold two key or two. Then it opens up the tinting menu. You select the tint, then it tints that way. I'm not used to that way because it takes a bit longer in that sense. So I'm hoping they would actually make it a bit better. But it's not just that system altogether. It's also the fact that we have to gather a bunch of materials in order to get these tints, and and I'm just really like, when are they ever gonna bring the modification kits back? Because we really need this, and I don't want to be spending too much time in order to find these materials in order to craft and get all these tints just to like just to recolor all my stuff. But also like with these tints, it doesn't really specify what you can or cannot tint as well. I wish there was a better way of actually knowing where these tints like what tints we can apply on. Like if you're a veteran player, you know exactly where you can or cannot tint. But as like a newer player, like how do you know? You don't.
no, you just look at an item and see if it says the tint
Yeah,
option, you know, see if
yeah,
it says
exactly.
tint, press Y, or at least on the
Yeah,
Switch, I
exactly.
press
Like
Y.
I don't want to be doing all that. I just want to be knowing like how do you know if I can tint this or not? Like I don't know.
I mean, I don't know how you would fix it. I mean, as I said, I don't mind that. My issue is I just want them to be able to let us have the modification kits and let us use so many modification kits to make a tent, as well as, being able to craft a tent on an object. But I want that tent to be permanent. Like that's a big thing, is the fact that the tents aren't even permanent. You put it into your storage and take it back out of your storage and the tent's reset. Like, so you spend all that time like farming materials to
Yeah,
craft the
exactly.
tent
Yeah,
for it to just disappear, you know?
right, right. And I'm seeing on patch notes like there's a separate storage space in order for the animals' food, like for the cookies and all the treats and all that,
Which
and
is
then for the
great.
tents. And I'm like, is that the tents for the furniture, or we're talking about the actual tents that we all gathered up for that?
Not the materials for the tents, because some of them are like bugs, which are already in bugs. It's going to
Right,
be
right,
the
right, right,
actual tent.
right, right. Right. That's what I'm thinking. Like
So
the
that's
actual
going to,
tents
yeah,
itself.
they're going to be in their own tab. So that way you're not having to try to find them in whichever tab. I don't even know what tab they're in, to be honest. I assume the furniture tab, but I don't know.
But what? But why can't we just have one that's another separate box for all the tent furniture?
Well,
Like I
well,
don't
that's the
know.
thing. As long as the furniture didn't lose its tent, like it can be the way it
Yeah.
was before this patch,
Right.
where, it was, you just kind of showed that you modified it, like in the
Yeah.
actual, box.
Right. Right. And that's what I really want. Like, if the storage is like way too full, like on even though it's unlimited, then why not just have a separate tab for all the tent furnitures rather than like, oh hey, you lost your tent. Yeah, sorry, you got to go out and get more materials for that, or it's re-tinted. I'm just like, why you do this to us? I can't do this. I'm
Right.
sorry.
That's why I said they need to give us modification kits back and then allow us to use
Hmm.
modification kits to turn into tents, as well as
Yeah.
as well as foraging items and bugs to be turned into tents. I love the way that you
Yeah.
can craft the tents the way they are. I just want an option to use the modification kit. I
Yeah.
wanted
Exactly.
both, like, I wanted two ways to be able to make that winter tent, Maybe it costs this many materials, or it costs 20 modification kits or 30 modification kits, one or the other, whichever one you have. So that if I don't want to go out and farm it, I can just go spend my money on modification kits, And that would
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
make things so much easier.
It would like it's it's just things like here and there. I'm just realizing like, why'd you even remove this, or why'd you even change this in the first place? Because I'm pretty sure many people are getting an uproar, and people are getting really, really tired of what's being changed. Like, even though this is a very slight inconvenience, I feel like it does bother a lot of people with this one. Because you spent all this time gathering the materials in order to just to go get it back because you can't put it back in your storage. Like, what? It becomes very frustrating at that point because Palia is already considered a very grindy game, and now you're making us grind even more, which I'm not sure if you want that in a MMO where um we're already grinding a lot of stuff
I
in
mean,
Palia already,
that's kind of
and
the
to even
point of the
grind this much
game.
more, it's like no.
Grinding is the point of the game.
I know
Like,
it is, but
I
like
play this game
there
to
should
do
be a lot more
grindy
than just
things.
grinding on things, though. I find.
Like, I mean, that I play this game to go grind out things and then decorate with those things I grinded out.
Yeah.
And then just to spend money to go grind more things, to then make more money, to spend more money, to then grind more things. It's a vicious cycle I do. But
It
that's
is a
the
vicious
thing.
cycle,
That my
but what I'm
fishing
trying
is
to
over
say is from this
500
is that
because that's why I play the game.
right. But like what I'm trying to say from that is like it can get a bit much. This is why people get burnt out a lot on and like a lot on grinding games. Like it doesn't seem worth it at there like some point. Just grind the same materials over and over and over and over again. yeah, you be like brand new grinding on something else, but for like something that could easily be changed, and it's not like more like less inconvenient, like more convenient to actually do. It will bring in people to like I'll do a lot more. Because when it comes to decorating, I think the last thing you want is actually to grind a bunch of stuff and like retint it, because yeah, you can tint things and decorate, but do you ever think about like actually like, oh shoot, I ran out of materials, I have to go get them, and then you're spending like another a bit out of your time to go out of your plot in order to get these materials to come back. Like as you're as a decorator, like you want to stay in your plot for a long time as possible, because you're just thinking of things and what to do with things. But that slight inconvenience could like ruin your whole thought process. Just to be like, oh shoot, I need to get this tent because it ran out,
Well, and
and it's
that's
it's very inconvenient in that sense.
well, and that's why I said I wanted to be able to make it with modification kits.
Yeah, yeah,
Because like that's the whole point in something like that is you either grind out the materials or you grind out the
mm,
gold. And most of us
right.
are probably pretty close to gold cap, if not
Gold heavy,
finding
right?
ways to
Yeah,
dump our money anyways.
right.
So when you're at it, when I'm at a decorating point like that, what I do is I go to town, I buy all kinds of materials that I may need, and then head
Yeah,
back
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Because that's the whole point is I've grinded out
Of
the
course.
gold now. So
Yeah,
I can just go buy everything I need so I can finish what I'm making, you know?
right.
And I feel like that's where, that's why I wanted the modification kits, because that would fix that issue for as far as like modification goes. And then as long as they just keep the modifications when you put them in storage, you know?
Right, right. I think what they could have done when they first released it was you basically get the materials in order to unlock it. Then afterwards, you can use the modification kits, just to get more of the tents, whatever. I think that'd be that'd be a lot more better. Trying to do that, since like, do you really want to craft all the same materials all the time? Like that. So yeah, I think modifications kits would have been the easiest solution, but I don't know. I don't know why they're saying like, oh, it's gonna be a relic. It's not gonna do anything, but you can still keep them up. Like,
But also on that note of decorating and things I want added into the game and on my wish list, okay, so like I don't know exactly how I would make this work, but I would love us to be able, when you cut down an infected tree in the world, that you have a chance to get like an infected ancient
mhm.
seed so that you could grow your own essence trees on your home plot. Cause
Yeah, yeah,
I would love to, like, I think
yeah.
those trees look so cool, and to have them as a decoration on my plot would be pretty awesome. And I think a lot of people would enjoy having an essence filled tree on their plot, you know? If you fully grow it, it can then give you another essence filled seed if you so desire. I'm not
Right,
over
right, right.
here because
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind the idea of having like an essence chop party, or having a flow chop party mixed
I
with an
wouldn't.
essence flow chop party, like we have 200 flow
Right,
trees and
right.
100 essence trees, and you come in, get some flow wood, get some essence, have a good time, and it would be able to help.
Yeah,
and
I
I
agree
and
with
I
that
don't think that
100%.
would be like breaking the game as far as like essence collecting
It's
going.
not.
So I would I would love the ability to grow essence ancient trees on my home plot. That is on my wish list.
I agree 100%. And there's a lot of things with the trees. I would say like I wish, um I just wish in general, like with the trees wise, like they would be able to give us like a bit more than just like, hey, it's the wood and basically that's it. Like I wish there was something that comes with it. Yeah, yeah, the plushie might be coming in order to make these like trees to be a bit better, but like I don't really see, like, that's the problem. Like Just the other day, I've been seeing like some people fighting over a grove, and I'm like, do you guys not have flow groves in your plot anymore? Is that like I know like the game is trying to make it like more interactable with that, but having people fight over a grove like was a long time ago, but now I'm here seeing it recently now, and I'm just like, is there no flow groves being hosted nowadays in your
Well, I
plots?
mean, a lot of people don't like I know my grows have been definitely not have as many attendances, but I think new players and
Hmm.
people don't want to have to go and do big group things a lot of times. Some people just like to go out, get a little bit of flow wood at midnight to go finish their project and kind of be done with it, you know? Which I don't blame them
Right,
for.
right, right. But I'm seeing arguments in the game. I'm just like, why? Why are you guys having
Because
arguments over
they're
the
always gonna
grove?
argue about what time to
uh,
cut the grove. That'll for as
right.
long as this game will exist, that will be a thing in this game is people will all no matter because
Uh,
new players will always be new players
they will be. Yep.
and they'll always like go through and do it. Like
Do it
that's just
right.
the way it is. Like
Yeah, I mean, like I'm still encountering like new players to be coming to my cake parties and being like, this is my first cake party ever. I'm like, oh,
oh yeah, I
welcome
had
in.
one person they had came to I had like a couple of people it was their first parties this past week. You know, and
Yeah,
that's always exciting to me, you know.
that's always exciting.
I
Yeah,
love it when, I can, help some new people out on their at their first time at a party, you know?
yeah, no, definitely, 100%. And see, like people like only level up to like level 10. Yeah, level 10. All of us sitting here with like over 100. I'm like, congrats. So it's quite exciting to see always seeing new players come in and doing something that they've never done before, which is totally different than what other games have. I haven't seen any other games like compare it with Palia with cooking parties because Palia has been different all this time about it. I haven't
Well, for
seen.
me, like
Yeah.
I always compare like cooking parties as a World of Warcraft player to me raiding and WoW. Because like raiding and WoW, it's like it's a
Hmm.
group-based event where you have people who
Yeah.
perform different roles and they do different tasks
Yeah.
during a boss fight. And to me, it's
That's
like
true.
the cozy game version of like World of Warcraft raiding. And that's why I had been so
Hmm.
adamant about wanting alchemy and specifically alchemy to work like cooking because
Hmm.
I love these big group events, you know? That's why I host my
Yeah.
flow
Yeah.
chart parties, is because I love the big group events, you know? And
Yeah.
but yeah, so that's what I always kind of compared it to myself. I know that sounds kind of weird because obviously combating coordinating 25 people to fight a big giant boss is completely
Right.
different than 25 people cooking together at a cake party, but that's kind of just different games, but it's still like a big large group of people together performing different tasks, working together to complete a goal.
Mm.
So
And that's the thing with like Paleo altogether with cooking parties is that they really switched to the game like on what rate like on rating on like what you said with rating. You like with rating you need the healers, the tanks, and the people that do DPS, which is damage per second. But this one cooking party it's a lot more different and it's more cozier. It's much more welcoming, and plus you're not feeling that much stressed out compared to like, oh shoot, I gotta be alert on 100%. I think you can be alert on like 80% and still get away with it
well,
and
yeah,
not
but you
worry as
still need
much.
your
Yeah,
bakers and your sweet
yeah,
leafers and your
you do, yeah.
batterers. Everybody got their job titles and everybody got to go in and
They
perform their
do.
slightly different role. But y'all work together. And as I said, it was just a more cozy version. But yeah, whenever
Yeah,
that's how I always compared it myself.
yeah. I mean, like if you're late by like 2 or 3 seconds, I don't think anyone would mind that much. But like in an actual raid, yeah, people would mind very much. Like
Well,
you're half a second off. What are you
see,
doing?
now, okay, and now here's like, and this is like a thing, okay? So, like, I have been wanting Palia to put in a more like instanced PvE boss fight for the hunting skill, you know? But
Right.
like obviously this was something that they'll never put in. So it's definitely not anything I want to hold my breath on. But like I've always imagined this big red giant Muja. Okay, so like okay, picture it. You probably
Go ahead.
butterfly hunt in the bottom part of Bahari in that big circle of mountains, right? Okay.
Right. I've done
So
there, yeah.
imagine you're in that circle
D8.
of like that in the bottom part of Bahari in that big old mountain circle where there's like three different ways in. Okay. Let's
Yep. That's D8 is what we call
okay.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we
Yeah.
there at a date and do we have a date at
I mean,
D8?
it does stand for
But
that.
anyway, and there's like no, all the entrances are closed off, so it's just like a giant like mountain range circle, okay? And there's just a giant,
Yeah.
like when I say giant, I mean like 10 times the size of a regular Mugen, and it's like a red Mugen running around, okay?
Right.
And you got to use slow arrows and dispel arrows, and like you're like and one person's like trying to like kite him basically, and
Yeah.
it would be and you have to hit it like a lot of times, but you only have like 5 minutes or so to actually kill the boss, or however many minutes they give. And he kind of runs around a little obstacle
Oh.
course, and you run around this little obstacle course, and you just, and
Right.
if you
Right.
run out of time, then he kind of vanishes, and it's like an instance thing, it's something kind of like you'd have to queue up for, or it'd be like its own, like, face. It's kind of like how you would, I guess, maybe like go into somebody else's barn or whatever, and how it's a
Right.
very
Right.
specific like area, but you'd be something you'd probably have to like, I'd let they'd fix it up. You'd probably have to like queue into it or something within like real world
Right.
limitations. But it
Right.
would be like you and a group of three other people. It'd be like or you and a group of four people, and you'd go in and tack down a big giant red Mugen. And if you take him down, like he has a very rare chance to drop like a red Mugen skinned fur rug.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
and like
The ideas are flying off
and
now.
like
Okay.
and
Let's
this
go.
is how like I've had this whole event planned in my head. And like I know, and it's almost like Monster Hunter meets Palia would be kind of like the best
I wouldn't
way I
mind
would
that, to
be
be
able to
honest with
put
you.
it in. But I think it would be a fun way to put in like combat into the game without necessarily being combat. Obviously, we don't have a health bar. So if you get hit by the
Yeah.
Mugen, your character is
You'd
like
be
your
flying
your
off.
character is like pushed back and maybe stunned for two
Yeah.
seconds, you know?
Yeah.
Or or something like that, maybe he does like a big jump and lands in the ground and everybody gets knocked back, and it's just you have to down
Right.
him within the time limit, you know that is
Right.
something I've always wanted them to put into Palia, but I don't think they ever will, but will still go on my Palia wish list.
I mean, I wouldn't mind that, to be honest, because like, yeah, there's a lot of games that have like a big giant boss, and everyone's just like literally circling around it in order to like do this to kill it. So it'd be nice. Like I like I think it's the same with Guild Wars 2. Like I played it for a bit where certain times of the day there's just like this random event just shows up and everyone could just join it just to like defeat this monster or do this little quest in order to get the rewards at the end. Like this could be EXP, this could be items, this could be gold, whatever. And it still happens a lot of times. And like this little event at certain parts of the day, this might actually be a lot worthwhile. So I don't know. Like if we're for Guild Wars 2, why not for
Right.
Palia?
Okay.
Right?
So let's
So
say we're
yeah.
in that area in Bahari, and like every like would it be like every like because like Palea an hour would be an in-game day. So would it appear? Would
Right.
would you allow something like
Right.
that to appear like hourly?
Yeah,
You
hourly. Yeah,
know,
yeah, I would. Yeah.
and so like basically, let's say that area, like a giant Mugen appears every day at like 6 p.m., like right at dusk,
Sure.
because
Yeah.
wolves come out at night, and
Right,
then
right.
you have like 6 in game, like you have like, 5 real life minutes. So, whatever that equates to in game. You have like 15 in
Right,
game
right.
minutes or whatever for everybody on the server to down this boss Muujin, you know? And
I
then he can
think the
drop loot.
I think the only problem I have with that is like if it's just standing around, it's less
No, no, he
exciting
wouldn't
to
be
be honest with
standing
you.
around. He'd definitely be
Yeah,
moving
yeah, yeah.
around and dodging, maybe going after
Mm-hmm.
people. Like that would be something like very specific. There would probably be some sort of like aggro feature to him, and in which I
Sure.
would want them to have put an arrow in the game, and it would be like a taunt arrow or like a mocking blow or something is what I'd call it or something. Where you'd shoot
Oh
where
no,
you'd shoot
I've
out
seen
an
that. Yeah, yeah, I've
arrow
seen that.
and it would like generate threat. And so like that big boss would then head towards your character. And then you'd have to have somebody on the
Right,
other side like shoot it so that it would come towards that other person, and you'd basically just kind of have them like kiting around, and it would require
right, right,
maybe a little bit of coordination and team play to get enough damage to get him down. But,
right.
it could still happen.
Yeah, no, it was
And
100%
slow
still could
arrows
happen. Yeah,
would slow him down. Dispel arrows
yeah.
would probably like cause like the magic effects to be weakened as long as you keep like the dispel buff on him. Maybe his
Right, right.
special feature wouldn't be like as, you know, happening or whatever. But yeah, I think something like that would be really cool. And
But
I
why do I feel like they're gonna be like making these like special arrows on like just for this specific raid
Why
altogether?
not? Why not? Like I like why like this would
uh,
be so much fun in Palia. Like we're hunting. Why can't we be a big game hunter? Let's go after
mm,
the big beast, and let it drop something like
right, right,
super cool and rare. And it's not something you can farm
right,
because it
right.
only can happen once an hour.
Like I'm still I haven't done that much raids to be honest with you with like World of Warcraft or like Guild Wars or anything like in these like fighting MMOs like RuneScape. I haven't done that. Like I haven't like it's still pretty brand new to me. So I mean like more like I'm open to see what this would entail like and what this would how this would happen. But these are some ideas from Kfish and I on how the basically the raid would will become. So like I'm down and open to see.
I like that.
Like it's a really cool idea, I would say, and I would want S6 to be like a bit open about this because I do know many people are looking for like new events other than like cooking and also the mini games that are happening in the game like hunting is another thing that should be taken into consideration because a lot of games have done it, so I wouldn't mind that as well. Or they could come up with something like with I don't know, like furniture building and maybe to make that co-op or like make that like a huge party. Who knows? I don't know.
Well,
Maybe.
because like my
So I
thing
don't
with
know.
the way
Like
hunting parties is if you have more than two groups together, it is hard to get a good coordinated hunting party. It is chaos. And
it
and
is. It
if you
is.
have more than two groups, then somebody's going to be missing out on a loot somewhere. And even in two groups, sometimes people miss out on loot.
Unfortunately, yes.
And
Oh, that. Oh, that's another thing I want though on my wish list. Also, like I know there's only like 4 people per party, but then if you count it like for the full server, there's like if you get 30 people in one server, there's gonna be two. There's gonna be one party with only 2 people in it, or one or two, three, 3 people in it. So in that case, why can't we just have like a 50 meter, um, like if someone breaks the rock or something like that? Please allow other people that are close to the where you broke it in order to get the loot. Please. I want that to be a thing so
I don't
bad.
know. I think that
It,
might be just giving too much loot out to too many people. Like I
yeah, but you're missing out. But some people are missing out on the loot.
Now, I
I
mean,
feel
if
so
they
bad
add
about
like
it.
two more people to the server, that way everybody can have a proper full party. or
Yeah.
make it
Yeah.
two less, whatever. Like, if that's the issue, then I would say just to give us
Oh,
like two more people or two less people. Well, obviously, I want more people.
yeah.
So, two more people,
Right. I'll get you over to
two
more.
more people, and I feel like that would solve that problem then. But I mean, I've been wanting big servers and I've been hollering for a bigger server for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, if they made it 40, there could be 10 groups. There you go.
Exactly. Like I would love a 40-person server. I feel like the server would feel
Yeah.
so full and so much more lively if we could add, a good 10 more people to the server.
Right. And then I agree with that 100%. But we're just waiting on a lot of things. I'm hoping hopefully they'll do it soon, but there's always so much we can do on our end. We can just request, suggest a bunch of stuff, and hopefully they will actually implement it into the game. So we'll see.
But yeah, so this does
Yeah.
conclude some more of our wish lists and things we would love for them to put into Palia maybe this year, maybe next year. I know next week's
Yeah.
episode, we're going to be diving in all into the patch that's coming out, and
We'll see how it
we're going to
goes.
play with it all week, and we'll come back to you and give y'all our opinions on it. But now it's time for
The
Shinori's
Nori's
question
question
of
of
the
the
week.
week. Thank you so much, Gay Fierce, and for today as well. My question for this week is: if you had to do like another group activity other than cooking, like what we just did with hunting, what would you really want to do as an activity that's a skill in the game that would require like a bunch of people in order to participate? In order to do this raid slash community event. So I would love to hear all your thoughts and like what would that entail? What would you would have to do? And like I want to see you guys with your ideas on that as well.
And make sure to follow and subscribe here on Spotify or YouTube.
And follow us on Twitch or on our social media.
And until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.